Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, parents and children, elephants and wolves, all you good people out there. I'm your host, Onvermel, and once again, this is the T.O.A Podcast. Today I'm joined by just simply one of my brothers. However, this time it is just EK, or Ek. Ek, would you like to say hi?
Hello.
Ah, there we go. He said a proper hi for once. Yes, just the two of us today. We're going to probably bit more of a chilled one. This one I definitely have less of a um fixed opinion on. But today we're going to talk about Lego busts with Lego releasing the three? Is it three? I believe.
Well,
The
there's two new busts, the Darth Vader head and the Scout Trooper helmet,
Right.
and there's a probe droid. It's not really a bust, but it was released along with them, and it probably has very similar packaging.
Right. So with the release of that, I kind of feel like it'd be fun to talk about them because Lego hasn't done a lot of busts, but definitely in the last like couple years they are starting to do more. I mean, like as you were saying, we got the Darth Vader and the Scout Trooper with this one, which is
I'm very excited about one of them. Kind of both, but especially one.
and like recently before they had a Boba Fett, a Stormtrooper. Were those the only two?
And the TIE Fighter helmet.
Right, and then they had the the Target exclusive Darth Vader one earlier.
There was also the Iron Man helmet. Now there's also a Batman cowl and the Venom and Carnage.
And but these are all the ones that have come out in the last like 2 years because I think the first one that Lego's really released in like last year was the Iron Man one. But before all these, we did have the original Darth Maul bust, like the original OG.
Yes, can't forget about that.
Which, in my opinion, is still the coolest. But that is purely nostalgia talking. Although I would like to say that I'll give that one credit because it's the only one that isn't like a helmet, not including the two Carnage. Oh look, they're also like black aliens.
The Darth Maul's a proper looking bust. I really wonder how well that set is aged.
And from what I remember, it still looks pretty decent. I think it still has like a decent price point to it. So I don't know what it looks like in person. So I don't know if it looks better just in pictures. Like they got his good side. I don't know if Darth Maul has a good side. In fact, no. Darth Maul does not have a good side. He's completely on the dark side.
All dark side.
All dark side, no good side. But it is makes the ones they have made so far make perfect sense. Vader, Boba, and like troopers. The most easy one to do because they're helmets, the monochrome, and those are some of the most iconic. We're never going to get busts of like Luke. The best I think we're probably going to get for anything good guy related is either like a clone or maybe a Luke with a Rebel pilot helmet. Maybe, but nah.
It's doubtful, but you never know what they're going to do these days.
I feel like people like the helmet aesthetic better because, like, I mean, they made Vader twice now. They've had a Stormtrooper, Scout Trooper, TIE Fighter pilot, and I'm wondering just how long this is going to last for Star Wars because, like, it's I feel like brickheads are kind of a bit on the way out for the most part. Like, I think they've run their course.
Yeah, they've had their phase, kind of a couple years and done.
And I feel like it's close to like not a good several years actually. Like they made like a lot of brickheads, but
in just like a short span.
these are basically taking the place of brickheads, but just making them bigger sets instead of like fewer but bigger. That kind of display adult, that office shelf piece.
They also have those brick sketches things.
Oh yeah, those are like the cheap man's portrait. Not cheap. Although then there also were just the mosaics. Oh gosh, I forgot. I really actually wanted to get the like Darth Maul or the dark side one to have Darth Maul or Vader.
Yeah, me too.
Or even that Iron Man one. Oof, those are some good. I'm surprised you actually never got the Vader one. I guess not yet, at least. I think they're still available. So, but
Maybe I'll do that next month. Who knows?
the fact that they've had basically just Star Wars exclusive for bus with like one exception with well, I guess no, the two Carnage and Venom. That's like three exceptions, and Batman.
And Batman.
And Batman. But so we have so it's basically superheroes and Star Wars, nothing else. And I'm like, I really don't see Lego ever making busts of anything non-licensed. Like, I'd be really surprised if they made a bust of something of their own.
There's one good option that some people would, be really in for, go for.
Are you talking about the T.O.A head, the Mata head?
Well, I was just thinking of Barnacle Mask in general, but that T.O.A Mad Head, yes, I would take that in a heartbeat. That is so well done.
That is really good. I guess, yeah, there are...
Go vote for it!
Yes, please do. But, the Lego bus, like, I look at them and, like, I have the suspicion they're only going to last, like, 2, maybe 3 years. Like, they might do some more next year, but I can see them only lasting as long as like the construction figures where busts are nice. You don't have to make really unique parts for them. You might make a few recolors, and but I feel like the market for busts would be very like you get people interested in it for a bit, but after all, people like, whatever. And like I said, they've already exhausted Vader, Boba, and the Stormtrooper. Like, what else is there after those three for busts?
Clone troopers? Some people would really want clone troopers, but Lego does seem to be tread carefully around prequel stuff.
Which is rather means like that is true, because like at least Battlefront 2 learned that the Clone Wars where the money's at because that's where most of the younger fans are. And yet Lego doesn't quite seem like they do cater to the Clone Wars enough. I think they just exhausted all their eggs early in all the blasts with like all the clones from like the like the mid 2010s, early 2010s. I think Lego kind of um exhausted a lot of the Clone War stuff then, but no, definitely a clone helmet would be nice. Now,
If they could do a real easy one, just recolor Boba's and boom, you got Django.
I mean that would be cheap. They could do it for the like. I could see them doing a Mando clone one bus instead of just like a
That'd be
Boba.
pretty not as colorful, but then again,
If
the
they,
TIE Fighter
I
helmet.
would
They
say
did the TIE Fighter helmet. That's
the
black.
thing is, if they do something like Iron Man and use metallic colors, because Iron Man had metallic gold, if they use metallic silver on him,
Beskar.
exactly. And I think Mandalorian's a high enough show, like as just about everyone agrees, is the best thing coming out of Star Wars right now. So right now, it's one of the most viable things to market, especially to the adult fans. To younger fans, maybe the Mandalorian isn't the hottest thing, which is why they're only making like a couple sets. But to the adult fans who would actually like bust, the Mandalorian, I feel like would be. I just don't know. As you were saying, it's kind of it's kind of dull color, so I don't know how well that look.
But think they did a TIE Fighter helmet. That thing's all black.
True, true, very, very true. Um, but with the black helmets was making me wonder, like, when it came down to the Vader ones, you and me had actually different opinions about which one we liked more. Because I think I was saying I liked the newer one more, and you liked the original better.
I don't recall having this conversation.
It was a very, very brief conversation, but here, I'm going to take a look at the two Vader busts because there are different, I think, different scales to like one, like I think the original.
Oh, for sure. The other one is on a much smaller scale.
But that small one was the reason I think did use some new parts on it, like the Falcon wedge plates that the Rise for Skywalker Falcon used. So there is some noticeable differences. Okay, this was the original.
Target.
Okay, so yeah, okay, that didn't age as well as I remember. Definitely, a little small. I like the shaping of the helmet. And it looks more like something like you'd find on like Flickr, like someone else's creation, and the mouth's fine. It's very rough, I'd say, not very polished, especially like around the neck is very flat, which is fine. Okay, the TIE Fighter helmet being just um black actually looks really good. What the heck are they using for the pipes there? Like I have no
I
idea.
believe those are train wheels along a stick, a bendy stick.
Holy crap, that works well, like really well. Actually, the TIE Fighter pilot looks really good. Better than the Stormtrooper. The Stormtrooper just has, I think, a little like baby face proportions where it just looks like a little squunched.
Also, all the exposed studs just worked better with the TIE Fighter helmet. With the Stormtrooper being white, it's a lot more noticeable and just, well, fuzzy looking.
With the TIE Fighter helmet, it helps bring out the shape of the helmet with all being black. But the white one definitely, it doesn't, I don't know, the helmet just looks wrong. While Boba pretty much looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it is really, I wish it wasn't sand green though. I really think they should have used normal green or dark green. Normal green, I think, would have been better.
I think sand green works better for Boba's helmet.
I'm also okay. Well, it depends. If it was Mandalorian Boba helmet, then normal green would look better. I don't know. I just always thought sand green just wasn't quite a good enough color for Boba because I don't know. Looking at him, like it's good, but I feel like the flowing of the cheeks into the red T frame doesn't work right, especially like that little black right. I guess there is black lines. And like it's nice. I know I really wanted it at first, but looking closer, I'm like, eh. So, oh yeah, there's another one we forgot. The Sith Trooper from San Diego Comic Con. So the other one with the Vader, which I think the image that I like the main image with the white background doesn't look so good. I feel like straight on it might look a bit better. But luckily enough, I don't really care for the Sith troopers and look in general. Like I don't mind the Sith trooper, but they're just red stormtroopers that are red First Order troopers. Nothing like super fantastic there. Because there's like with the other busts, you have like like Yoda, the Porg, and Dio, and Baby Yoda for like and BB-8 for like large sculptures, which is interesting. But I don't know. I wonder why the other Vader helmet isn't here. I guess it just hasn't been added to the Bricklink list yet. Yeah, so I use Bricklink as for all my means. But like Lego Boss, I think other characters that they could definitely do would be like General Grievous for one. He's always
That'd be a good one.
like not only does General Grievous have a really cool look, he's just a fan favorite. Like everyone, and Lego has made a displayable figure of General Grievous before, so the idea for adult collecting a figure for Grievous isn't like out of range, and I think he just has like a face that would probably work really well, especially if they didn't like they try to tiled it as much as they could. But if you really want to go old school, we're going to take a look at that original Darth Maul one, which is the most basic. It's just brick on brick. Like there's like no really fancy techniques, but
Classic Legoland, like sculpture style.
like yeah, that's the thing. It looks way more like what you think a Lego bust would look like. And honestly, I still really like. I know some people I think might have issue with the eyes or something, but I don't know. I just think it looks really good. And honestly, if I were to go for any, I'd probably want to go for that one. I just think it's got. I mean, I feel like it's like its nose might look a little off, but like I said, it's just brick on brick. It's classic Legoland bust, but I don't know. I think it's still holds up pretty good, especially coming out in 2001. And just being brick on brick, and not having really any fancy parts. Really, just like you could tell that was designed probably by someone like that's just Lego, right? Like that is pure classic Lego master building technique. Like it's pure and just kind of beautiful. Then we got the where is it? Superheroes, Iron Man. Oh, sculptures. That's one. You said one, and there's two. The Iron Man sculpture isn't perfect, especially look straight on, but it is really good. It's really the metallic gold. I think makes it a lot better than it probably like normally would look. I mean, I will admit this, I am very picky when it comes down to my Iron Man helmet designs. Ever since, because my favorite Iron Man design in the movies is the first movie. Like that is my favorite armor, perfect look. I do like a lot of the others, but I always found the helmet always just looked best in that first movie, and I've always been annoyed when they keep changing and they don't quite get it to look right in my opinion. So I've always just been picky with Iron Man's helmet, but good sculpt. The Venom and Carnage, as far as I can tell, they're just the exact same build, just different colors. And I mean, I don't really care much for Venom or Carnage, but I will admit that they are very nice looking busts. They give the appearance of those characters extremely well. And the printed red parts for Carnage are really, really nice looking. Ooh, yawning over there, are we?
I really don't care about the Marvel DC ones at all. Meh, just meh.
I will admit that I think the Batman cowls are the worst.
Well, yes, that's agreed.
Well, the
It's
thing is, like,
also just it's DC, it's not Marvel. But let's not get into that.
but the thing is, I love Batman. I do love Batman, but for a reason, like the cowl just on itself, with, like no head underneath or anything, just looks a little odd to me. Like I don't know. I just thought the Batman cowl looked a little, I don't know, a little lazy. Just let's see. Do they even have Batman? Batman. Do they have the picture in those in Bricklink? I could just look up on Lego.com to find these pictures, but that sounds like work. And
Well, these ones don't seem to be on Bricklink, these new ones,
well, the Carnage was so
which is weird
same
because
with
the other ones weren't.
well, Bricklink sometimes gets some things on sooner than others. So superheroes, Batman. I was probably just not on yet. So Just gonna quickly go to Lego.com. Lego.com. Find some busts for you and me and everyone in between. Stay here for the intermission. We're gonna find some busts. Boys, we're gonna find some busts. Except all. Just a couple guys going on the internet trying to find some busts. Nothing to worry. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Gentlemen? Oh, there's just those. Assuming the Batman's... Okay. There it is. It's... I mean, it's fine. It just... I think it's the fact that it's transparent in the mouth. I think that's the thing that gets me. It's not just hollow in the mouth, which I think would look better. Because as far as I'm aware, Batman doesn't
Yeah,
have
that's the part that really seems to throw me off too. The rest looks pretty fine, but that transparent part where his mouth goes just looks off.
Like, also, there's not a head underneath, so you don't need... Just leave that space gap open. Like, you don't need to have, what's it called, like, a transparent piece in there. Like, it might be there for... Like, as far as I can tell, it's not even there for stability. Like, you don't really need it. So, like, the rest looks fine. Like, it's actually better than I remember seeing. So, I'm like, but that transparent piece and... yeah, I don't know. It's just... I just really don't think it looks that great. And I want to like Batman, but... Nah, I don't know. It's... I definitely would like to see Lego attempt. I think Bus is a good thing for Lego to attempt because, you know, as like adult sets go, like anything with minifigs are always the most expensive stuff. Something like Bust or Mosaics, you know, for the amount of pieces you're getting are usually some of the better deals. I say usually because I can't remember if the Mosaics were actually a good deal or if they were actually a little bit pricey, but that's just Star Wars tax for you. Oh yeah, they come around the new R2-D2 that looks almost identical to the original one.
I see no difference between those R2s.
It basically all it is, the head is less studded. I think is like really the only major difference that there is. Are they even a new bust even on Lego.com yet, or did they release on the 4th?
I've seen them, but they might... I think their actual release date's at 26, so they might...
They might have been taken...
They may have been up early or something.
And for some reason, I'm not finding them here. But again, Lego.com is not as... Oh, there it is. There's the Vader.
Ah, yes, it says coming soon.
April 26th, so tomorrow. Ooh. Okay, this head has a better face than the small one, but I think the small one had a better helmet.
All this exposed studs doesn't really work for Vader at all.
Also, I feel like the helmet should be like just bigger compared to his face. Like I feel like the helmet is too small, and as the print on the mouth should the tile underneath it should also be printed because that doesn't look right. Like there's a lot going right for it, but I don't know. Like I feel like this Lego's never had good. I mean, Vader's a hard shape to do. Like overall, like there's a lot of angles and such. But I definitely feel like the biggest problem is like the helmet is just that goes on top. The mask is too small because I feel like this should hang down a little bit lower on the eyes. And it's just like if I squint, it looks pretty good. Like when I can't see details, it looks fine. But once I get focus, the problem. I mean, Lego's also had a lot of different Vader attempts at Vader sound. They've had 2 minifig helmets. They've had the Technic helmet with like a custom-made piece with a made-up Technic face. 2 construction figure helmets, and now they've had 2 busts. So, you know, Lego's had a lot and a brick head, and I think I think that's all. So they've had a lot of attempts to make a Vader helmet from different means, and honestly, I don't think any of them. I think like the best is also I would say the second construction figure had the best helmet.
Honestly, the brickhead's not bad for it what it is.
I mean, well, it's a brickhead, so you're also going to take it with a grain of salt, but that's kind of the half the charm, which I think is one reason why I like the original minifig helmet over the second one.
You can't go wrong with it.
Well, the first one, yeah, it may not have been as accurate, but for a minifig, it looked perfectly good.
It has that perfect Lego charm.
While the other one, my problem with the second one was not so much by anything in shape, but just the way designed, he always looks a little up. Like if you could just tilt his whole head like down like 20 degrees or like 15 degrees or whatever.
Unfortunately, Lego minifigures cannot do that with their head. They can only look side to side.
Now, don't get me wrong. I say this about every time Lego releases a new helmet for any minifig, and then I get used to it. Cause what was the TIE Fighter helmets? I remember when they made those ones, I thought they looked ridiculously huge, and I got used to it, and I actually really like them. Iron Man, when they first made them, when they first came out, that very first helmet that had the flip open visor, I thought it looked way too huge and too dumb. Now I would think it's actually really compact helmet, and like honestly, it's like probably the best one. I like it more than just the one piece helmets because it can flip open. So interesting thing about like all these busts is they don't go to the shoulders, like they're only the heads.
Well, it's called a helmet series, not a bust.
True. So was this bust series a bust? Are we wrong the whole time?
Yes.
Oh well, I guess we're gonna have to go back to sketchy sites to get our true busts. I'm gonna take a look at this R2 while we're here because it's kind of that same vein. Like as it looks a little bit more polished off, like a tiny. Like I'm gonna open up another tab and get a look at the other one to see like. Okay, now I think that R2 was under probably
Sculptures, I think
what
it
was
was.
Sculpt or was that a Master Builder set? Was R2 under sculptures? No, he was probably under Master Builder or
UCS, I think.
UCS. Was he actually UCS set? Man, it's no, he was okay. So let's see, we got. So let's see, looking at one R2. So those are a little less rounded. The circles on his chest. His hoses and his feet have gone from like a brown to a gold. I think I like the original's heads better. Because I think this one is just has too many clashes of like textures. Like they're still both getting this attempt at being a circular head, but because the original one is just studs, it has a more cohesive look. But this one's got a more rounded body. The new one's got a more rounded body. It's basically more rounded. Is basically the way I would describe this new one. It's rounder, which I kind of like the original better. I don't know. I'm a sucker for older Star Wars stuff with a more Lego charm. I've always been a sucker for that. But I think that just comes down to probably nostalgia and the fact that I'm a bigger Lego fan than I am a Star Wars fan. Don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars to death. I grew up with Star Wars. I have always liked Star Wars. But Lego Star Wars is I have a hard time meshing the two together. Like I love Lego Star Wars sets, but whenever I get one, I kind of like, oh, this looks good, and then I do nothing with it. Like often I'll just break it and then sort down the parts. I have some still built, like the U-wing and such, but I don't know. Like I do just prefer the like. That's why I like the yellow figs better. I just like the more simpler designs of like the earlier Star Wars figs. Like really from the 99 to 03 were the best years of Lego Star Wars in my opinion. Not necessarily for more accurate ones or for even just the best toys, but for Lego, they were the best Lego Star Wars. But you guys can crucify me in the comments later. All two of you guys who comment. Michael, you're one of them. Sorry, Howan. Uh, two different people, I swear. Very two different people. David, I'll call you out just because I can. Ooh, ow, wait. This new R2 is 270 Canadian. How much was the original one? 200? Dang it, I don't remember. But oh, and then the General Grievous figure. Oof, that hasn't aged well. I think. Yeah, I really feel like that. Yeah, no, definitely a General Grievous head sculpture or bust would definitely be I think very ideal. Other Star Wars things I know like I don't think they'll ever do any droids like battle droids or anything silly like that. Let's be honest, battle droids aren't popular enough for that.
No, but they'd be a good cheap set.
Yeah, but no one would want a battle droid unless it's like a jokingly dismembered battle droid head. I mean, if these were coming out in 1999, I could see him doing a Jar Jar bust because Jar Jar was all the
Thank
rage.
goodness they're not.
Honestly, I think a Jar Jar bust looked fine. He's got a dynamic enough head. Like he's honestly a good figure to make. Like he's a good look to make action figures or toys out of. Like he's a very compelling and a very unique looking character. Like you recognize a Jar Jar right away. The only problem is a Jar Jar bust probably would not sell because sure, some people like Jar Jar. I even like Jar Jar. Do I want a Jar Jar bust? No. I don't want a Jar Jar bust. I don't need that staring at me every morning when I wake up. I don't need that staring at me when I'm getting changed. I don't need that staring at me when I'm eating my food. No matter where I put it, it would be creepy. So really, really wouldn't need that. And like I said, earlier, like I really don't think Lego's going to be doing much many more busts after this. I think they're basically going to probably do another wave. Like they'll probably do another wave maybe next year or maybe at the end of this year. But I don't think there'll be any new busts come the end of 2022. I just don't think it's going to be a big enough hit. Like these sort of like the mosaics, the busts, even like brickheads, whatever kind of like the sketches. Like all of these are like, you know, they always seem to have like one of these sort of like kind of extra adult oriented star art like adult design sets where they're not like for play at all, like with no minifigs. They're just that. And I feel like they'll come the end of 2022. They'll have something new in 2023. If I were to guess if they're going to do more, if I were to hazard to guess what they'll do, uh, I mean, possibly a clone trooper, possibly Grievous, depending if they want to go to the prequels. What I am surprised that they haven't done yet is make basically replica lightsaber handles, like 1-to-1 scale handles.
It's the next logical step, almost.
Because like I've seen enough people make them, like even like Zacta, who's not here. He even made like it's not based on any specific lightsaber, but he made his own. Like they're good display pieces again, and they'll be cheap enough to make.
I think there was some free gift with purchase of Yoda's lightsaber.
Wasn't that just? Oh yeah, that was with I think the new sculpture of Yoda. That's right. They did do one. Okay. So, but I can see him doing that. But like I said, I feel like the busts are just their helmets are going to get replaced by something in a couple of years. Which is fine. I don't think I'm going to get any. You have one coming along the way.
Scout Trooper.
It's only the third Scout Trooper helmet he's had coming in the mail. All of them different, mind you. All of them different. He likes his Scout Troopers. What can we say? They're black and white and neon. Wait, no, they don't have neon green. Okay, they're two out of three of his favorite colors.
Close, but not quite.
I mean, I'm pretty sure your likeness for Scout Troopers is a lot of nostalgia because they were the first Lego Troopers you had, and well, let's just be honest, they are cool. They had bikes. They weren't the guys who just walked around with.
They're also in the movies guys with they're troopers with a bit of personality to them.
That is true. In the movie, the Scout Troopers did have the most personality. They actually talked the most. I mean, all the other troopers just talked about, hey, got a new AK-47 there or whatever gun. Like they just talk about the new gun. Then did you hear that? They basically had just very quick. But the Scout Troopers, like when we were rewatching episode 6, we definitely found that the Scout Troopers were actually rather entertaining. Like just on their own. Like the one guy got duped by Han. He's just like, hey, like the guy stole a bike. He's like, oh come on. And then the guy who got duped by all the rebels got like tricked out. He's just like, oh, fine, I got tricked by the rebels, I give up. It's like, I accept my fate. Yeah. Busts. Like I said, I don't think I'll get any. If I were to get one, I'd probably get Boba. Like, I wanted Iron Man. Didn't end up getting it, and I don't think I will. Boba would be nice, but I like having display pieces, but I'm not a Star Wars collector or a Star Wars builder. I watch Star Wars. I absorb the lore, but when it comes down to physical stuff, Star Wars, like even compared to you and Zacta, I don't even have. Wait, no, I do have one like custom lightsaber, but you guys actually have custom designs. I just have like a stock design lightsaber that was like from a company that Zacta got me for Christmas, which I love. It's purple bladed, beautiful, but you guys basically had our cousin basically who's into making custom lightsabers, and you guys, Zacta has got 2 and I think waiting on the 3rd.
Shout out to Jedi Ranger.
Hi, Jedi Ranger, you're a real good man. And then you have your Blacktron lightsaber. So, we got our stuff, but I enjoy the movies. I like learning about the lore, but when it comes down to actually owning like physical Star Wars, I keep getting Star Wars sets because I get they're really cool, and then I never do anything with them. So, like I said, I don't think I'm getting in the bus. I think they're good. Vader, I don't like. I don't. The Scout Trooper looks great, but Vader's, it just looks off. Like that, it just looks off. Like I don't know. And plus, they already did a Vader.
We almost should have waited to do this until after I got it and built it.
Yeah, but we postponed this already late enough as it is, so we kind of had to do something. We could have done something else for today, but I went with this. Hey algorithm, please like me. So, uh, if anyone stick this on the podcast, thanks for listening. Please consider subscribing and maybe commenting in the mention. How many guys mention in the comments which one busts you like the most or which ones you'd like to see? I'd be kind of interested in that. And well, we'll see you all next week. And for the time, we are retiring from the night. Man, this podcast was a bust.